Sorry.
Oh, no, I wasn't asking for that. Thank you very much. I'm totally special. Good morning. Welcome to an informational session about the upcoming Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives conference that will be here in July. So we have a real treat today. We have a triple presentation for you to help prepare you for this conference. So joining us today, we have Jay Byers with the Greater Des Moines Partnership and Vicki, tell me how to pronounce your last name. Cummages with Catch Des Moines. So we're actually going to start off with Vicki, and she's going to tell us a little about what's happening and why it's so important to Des Moines as a region. Vicki?
Good morning. It's great to be here with you this morning. And we're happy to be here. We're really proud of Jay and team and for what they have done in bringing this event to the greater Des Moines area. Things like this don't just happen. They take a lot of strategy, a lot of work, a lot of investment of time and dollars to make sure that the events come to the community and then that they're pulled off in the way that we always approach it, that they want to come back. Every time we take a look at an event that we are planning on bidding on or hosting, we always look at it with the emphasis of getting it back another time. With this particular bid, it was difficult to get here in that Jay's national organization had a third-party meeting company that was selecting cities for the national organization, and this meeting planner hadn't ever been to Des Moines and really didn't think that Des Moines could handle it. So that's where we were able to come in and keep Jay kind of out of it. It's a political side of things, being a leader in the organization, and say, no, we can, and let us show you why. And so we put the information together to show them the number of flights in and how it could be all accommodated. And then, of course, Jay's there saying, we're ready and willing and here to support that. And then came the time for the actual bid. They gave us the opportunity to bid, and then we were up against other cities. Jay probably remembers, but I don't even remember what all cities except for Omaha, Nebraska, which was a really, really tough one. So the team went all out. Jay produced a video to show them the extra little incentive on why to come to the greater Des Moines area. And it worked. And here we are, just a month out before the event takes place. And today is cutoff for the hotels. The pre-promotion that's been done has been fabulous. We are exceeding the expectation for those coming in as far as room nights go and attendance too. So with 1,000 people coming in and being in the downtown area from Tuesday night through hopefully on Saturday where they can experience farmers market, we'll have them in here for quite a while. This particular event, we have a tool that we purchased, which is an economic impact calculator. And Tourism Economics actually creates this calculator, and each city is different. So they take our gross product numbers and put it into a system and ask us a lot of questions that we fill out. This particular event has a direct impact of $835,000, an indirect impact of $611,000 for a total impact of $1,447,000. So that is huge. It will generate in local taxes over $27,000. And food and beverage that will be spent is over $240,000. So it has a huge impact on the community, and we are very, very fortunate to have a professional organization of people who will be coming in, meeting at the IO Event Center, utilizing the new attached Hilton Hotel, and then also utilizing the downtown Des Moines Marriott and the Embassy Suites. Today is cutoff. Today is the last day for hotel reservations, so we'll make sure everybody has a hotel room and get them well taken care of. Jay, anything else that you want me to touch on for Jennifer? Yes, Michael.
Can you define indirect?
Yeah. Yeah, indirect would be so Scott Carlson is going to have people coming to the brew pub, right? If these people weren't here, they would not have purchased, Scott would not have had purchased the hamburger that he's going to purchase for the person who's going to eat it. The direct would be the $12.95 that they're paying for their burger. The indirect would be the expenses Scott has with getting that hamburger and the ketchup and everything else to go with it. So there's no other rollovers. It's the actual cost that would be impacted by that. Plus, you know, the value of having these leaders of communities from across the country and even the world being in our community are all people who are engaged in other organizations, they're engaged in other businesses, and they are leaders talking about this community. So, you know, we'll have over 1,000 other spokespeople that people are listening to being here in our community to talk about it when they leave. Conferences and conventions are great for the area. You know, that's why we at Catch Des Moines continually work on it. Before I turn it over to Jennifer, one of the things that I do want to say is always remember, what are you a member of? Who do you know that might be going to a conference outside the metro area that should be here? Let us know. Let us do some research. Let us talk about it like we did with Jay to bring it in. Because whether it's 1,000 people having over a $1.4 million, you know, take that to 100 people, you're at $140,000 economic impact to this community. It's huge, huge, huge. Other questions you have? Other information you want me to touch on? Jay? The impact of the new Hilton has been huge. Jay's question was, what is the impact of the new Hilton? It has been huge. It has given us the opportunity to go after business that we have not had the opportunity to pursue in the past. This is one of those groups. It would not have come. We did lose it before in 2000. We had bid for 2010, but without having an attached hotel, the meeting planners just are not willing to take on the extra of being, you know, a few blocks away and having to coordinate, because basically they're working 24 hours a day when they're putting on their conference. We had a hit list of 29 groups that we wanted to go after, and our team has pursued many of those, and we have secured many of those. Actually, right now we're at 27 groups that have been secured because of the attached hotel. And more are in the process right now of signing contracts. And those are only groups that we work with in multiple different hotels. So, you know, it is impacting the entire metro area and giving us new opportunities that we've not had opportunities before. As we took a look at the addition of the Hilton, we know that there are going to be groups that shift too. They will shift from one hotel to that hotel, and the team's working on identifying other groups that can come in for that. But the ability that we have now to do a conference of 1,000 rooms, 1,200 rooms, and even up to 1,700 rooms downtown makes a big difference in what we can do in the markets we can go after. Yeah, you know, we do a lot of groups that are what we call hobby or special interest groups, such as the religious market and those kind, which are great groups to have in, but their price point's not as high as what they are with professional trade associations. So with the partnerships involvement and getting this new hotel done, it's really elevated our opportunities to bring in groups such as ACCE, and we're really pleased to have this as the first multi-property group that will be coming to the metro with the attached hotel. You know, they've had some opportunity to get it up and running, have had groups in there, have had good successes. We hear nothing but rave reviews. This weekend, USA Track and Field officials were there and the elite athletes were there. They absolutely loved it. So it should be a well-oiled machine ready to welcome these guests in a few weeks. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you again, and let me know. I'll be around, so if you do have more questions after, let me know. Okay.
Thank you, Vicki. Thanks for being here today. Thanks to everyone else who's here today. I think I know most of you in the room. I guess I do. But my name is Jay Byers, CEO of the Greater Des Moines Partnership, and appreciate you being here today. Appreciate Vicki very much and all of our friends at Catch Des Moines. Greg serves on our board, I serve on their board, and we partner on lots of events. Another big one we work together on that we're bringing next summer is called World Bio, which is a premier Ag Bioscience Global Conference, which is right in line with what we're trying to do with the cultivation corridor and bring all these amazing prospects here to us. So again, this hotel and our friends at Catch Des Moines are great partners on lots of different things, and so appreciate everything that they do. I know some of you have heard me talk about this. Michael, I know you've probably heard me give this presentation multiple times. But this is a really, really big deal for Des Moines to be able to bring this conference here. Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. This is our national trade association for chamber executives. This is the largest annual gathering of Chamber of Commerce executives in the world. As Vicki said, there'll be 1,000 plus attendees here. We, in terms of registration, in terms of the early bird registration, we were number 2 all time in terms of numbers, right? So, and not only that, Des Moines is the smallest market that's hosted this since I've been involved with ACCE. I serve on the ACCE Executive Committee and Board. I have for a number of years. I've probably been to about 10 of these across the country. You know, again, much bigger cities. Again, last year was in Nashville. Places like LA, Des Moines was really not on radar screens until we got this convention hotel and lobbied very, very hard for it. Another big reason we were able to secure this was because I highly encourage our team to be involved with our trade associations, ACCE, US Chamber, IEDA, others. And so if you go to ACCE leadership, people like Mary Bontrager, all the people who do talent, they know Mary. Mary presents at this conference. Mary has been to a lot of these conferences. She is highly sought after in this universe. People like Meg Schneider. Meg is, again, highly engaged with ACCE. She has been a speaker at this convention before and knows lots and lots of people. Tiffany Tauschak, she helps lead the communications division. Joe Murphy and Andrew Woodard, heavily engaged with government affairs. So we've got our tentacles kind of all across ACCE. So a lot of our colleagues know about us and what's happening here, but not many have been here. So when I surveyed my colleagues on the ACCE board, how many people have been to Des Moines, and very few of them raised their hands. So I think people are pretty excited to kind of see what's happening here. But I think that we knew that you know, we're honest enough to know that we're not necessarily seen as a travel destination. We do really well in the Midwest, but we're not Vegas, we're not Orlando. But I think what we have to offer folks who here that are participating with ACCE is saying, hey, you can be anywhere in the country, you can be 1,000 miles from an ocean, but you can still be globally competitive and do amazing things for your community. So I think in many ways that's what attracted our colleagues here, is to say, hey, we can replicate what's happening here in Des Moines anywhere in the country, and here's a great example of economic development and community development success. So I think that all of you have been part of that, and I think that's been a big reason why we are able to attract this to Des Moines. So the conference is coming up very quickly. Been talking about this for a long time, and now it's less than a month away, July 17th through 20. One of the things that's been different about this is ACCE has not always sort of just leveraged what the city is all about in terms of marketing, but when we were working with them, as I sort of described earlier, we thought that focusing on that dream big, be different, which is sort of what we're all about, would be sort of a theme in terms of attracting more people to come, to say, hey, this is how Des Moines did it, and if Des Moines can do it, anybody can do it, sort of thing. So that's been the theme. We've gotten a lot of great PR and marketing amongst our colleagues who are, again, thought leaders within chambers and economic development, not only across the country, but across the world. There'll probably be about a dozen or so countries represented here. I haven't seen the latest numbers. So one of the things that we're going to do, and again, people like me and Mary and Meg, others, have been to a lot of these conferences and really sort of take notes in terms of what people do and what people don't do. So for example, most cities we've gone to, including Nashville, a great city, no doubt about it, but they host a lot of conferences. They're used to having a lot of visitors. When the ACC comes to town, it's not really that big a deal, right? Because it's like they're used to having all these conferences, and you go hang out on Broadway along with, 20 bridal parties, and I mean, if you've been there lately, it's sort of turned into like New Orleans or Vegas, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, I love Nashville, but what they're going to experience here is from the minute they get off the airport or off their airplane at the airport until they get back on, they're going to feel the Des Moines love. And so, again, great partners with Catch Des Moines. So, for example, at the airport, there will be all kinds of signage when they come down the escalators, at the baggage claim, and we're going to have live music at the airport for 2 days. Partnering with Department of Cultural Affairs on that. So very excited about that. So they're gonna feel this sort of awesome experience with the live music. But then again, they're gonna see the welcome at the airport. Then when they get downtown at the Meredith Skybridge, there'll be a big welcome sign, so everybody has to drive through there, so they're all gonna see that. And then we are going to have multiple banner placements downtown surrounding where a lot of our events are, primarily down around the river, World Food Prize, Brenton Skating Plaza, where a lot of our events are gonna be. So they're gonna see banners with ACCE. Again, I don't remember seeing that in any other city I've gone to when we've hosted this before, so they're gonna feel that love. So also we're gonna have some like sort of street markers in terms of directing people to different events and things like that on the sidewalk. The Hilton Convention Hotel, and I kind of teed up that question with Vicki, but this really allowed us to compete for this for the first time because, as Vicki said, you know, and a lot of you have been to, probably all of you have been to multiple conferences in other cities, but the recipe is always sort of the same, right? You have a nice convention center and a convention hotel or 2 or 3 across the street, basically. And we didn't have that. So we were not able to we didn't even try to submit a bid for this in the past, but as soon as this project got approved and we knew it was gonna happen, we put in a bid, basically having the target construction date, which was March of this year. And the first year we put in the bid, we got it. And so, of course, all along we've been tracking very closely the progress of the construction because we promised that it would get done in March for a July conference, but this conference was actually the first conference that signed with the Hilton. So we weren't the first one to host there, but we were the first one to sign. And for people like Vicki and I, who for many, many years have been arguing that we need one of these, we always said, well, there's other conferences that we will get if we have this. And people are like, yeah, right. But that immediately took that issue off the table because as soon as this was announced, we had ACCE, which again, 1,000 people, largest chamber of commerce gathering in the country, booked because of this, right? So that really helped us with and it helped, you know, Polk County and the city of Des Moines and the DMRC in terms of, yeah, this was really worth it. And now, as Vicki said, that there's multiple others, you know, World Bio, that's one. We've had other ones that have come to us and say, we want you to bid on this. And so now we actually can be a little bit more selective in terms of, well, maybe that one's got too high of a price tag and maybe not this year. But that puts us in a very different negotiation position with other conferences, which is very, very exciting. The other thing that's really important about this slide is this hotel has been booked for months with ACCE, right? But also Marriott, full. Embassy Suites, full. Marriott AC's got to be close to full. Hyatt probably close to full. They might be full now, I don't know. But what happens with these hotels is, again, there's 325 rooms in here, but you have 1,000 people. Do the math, right? You fill up all these other hotels. That's what this is all about. So the concern with the other downtown hotels, and actually I thought the other downtown hotels were really great when we were working on this because they understand that the more we attract here, it's going to fill up their rooms as well too. Heads and beds. Yes?
When you say 1,000 folks, is that 1,000 members and spouses? What's the 1,000 folks or just the registrants?
I think registrants, but I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what the current numbers are. Yeah, it's a great question. But that also includes, there's a lot of vendors, right? The trade show is a huge deal. So I don't know exactly what that breakdown is, and I don't know what the final numbers are right now. So most of the events are going to take place in the convention center. And as I know everybody's been in this room. I think I'd put this room up against any facility that I've been to across the country. It's going to be a great showcase for all the big events, the main speakers. A lot of that main programming, ACC, they do all that. We don't really have much say. We've had a little bit of an opportunity to weigh in, but they pretty much run that programming. So between there, the other rooms up there, and then some of the rooms in the Hilton will be where most of the hardcore programming takes place. We also are offering some pre-trip tours. So if people come in early, so there will be a guided public art tour, including the sculpture park led by the Des Moines Public Art Foundation and the art and going through the downtown art walk. And then also Meredith was very generous, and there is a behind-the-scenes tour of the test garden, test kitchen, and wood shop. And I know the Meredith one, I'm pretty certain, is already full and been full for a while. But some really great opportunities, and my wife and I are actually hosting some of my closer colleagues at the social club the night before too, so thank you for that. This is just kind of highlighted some of the speakers: Ryan Estes, Becky Frankowitz. Ryan here is an expert on sales and marketing, and Becky is the president of Manpower North America. Big issue is talent for all of us who are in chamber work across the country, and having an expert come in and talk about that. Other speakers as well. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of our other venues. Our opening night reception is at the World Food Prize, which is going to be very exciting. We're going to have actually the party will be both inside and then outside on the river and in the garden, so all three areas. The Brazilian twins will be roaming. They're great entertainers, as you know, and we're going to be able to invite a number of our community members to attend this as well too. So we're very, very excited about that. Our closing party is going to be at Brenton Plaza, which is really a spectacular facility. Again, you can have an outdoor facility and rainproof downtown. The band will be Faculty Lounge, a local band. By the way, we're featuring lots and lots of local music throughout. We're going to have significantly more music here than they had in Nashville. Just saying. So this is going to be a great party. AARP is partnering with us. Actually, I should go back here real quick. Cognizant is one of our great sponsors. We've got a lot of great local sponsors, but they're going to be having a few words at this event as well too, but really stepped up. And we had a lot of local sponsors who helped make this happen. So Scott, thank you for your leadership on that too. Sorry for not mentioning that earlier. AARP is one of our sponsors here, so they're going to be having some fun, like large scale, like Jenga and games like that. So there'll be a lot of fun things going on. We're going to have some seating. So it's going to be, we're kind of trying to get the feel of when the Downtown Chamber puts together the annual event, where it's all these sort of different stations and fun and relaxing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, in terms of taking some lessons from the Downtown Chamber playbook, one of the things that we want to do is, in addition to this great welcome that people are going to have at the airport, is we want to have these great experiences from the time they wake up until the time they get to bed. So if you get up at 6 o'clock and you want to work out, or if you're a party animal and you want to stay out till 2 a.m., we got something for, if you want to do both, we can make it all happen, right? So every morning we're going to do something special to feature fitness downtown and to experience downtown. So one morning will be a downtown run led by Matt Anderson, City of Des Moines Economic Development Director. So kind of checking out some of the downtown sites and also getting a little exercise. One morning, working with the Des Moines DSM Bike Collective and doing a downtown bike ride, similar sort of thing. And then we're going to be doing yoga one morning as well, too. I will not be doing yoga, I know that. I think that's something that's not been done before, but I think we're going to get some really great participation and an opportunity for folks to see the city and experience the city in early morning that a lot of people here don't even get to do. So I think that's going to be really cool. And then our late night stuff. Now, we partnered with the Iowa Chamber of Commerce executives. They have been great partners with this throughout, great participation, and they're helping fund a lot of this as well too. So we have post parties after all of our parties, right? So what typically happens at this conference, and if you've been to conferences before, there's when I remember when I started coming to these conferences or going to these conferences, that there was sort of this group that knew each other, and they would always sort of find this place to go, but you might not know where to go, right? Unless you were kind of talking to the right person. So, hey, and then you could wake up the next morning and go, oh my gosh, you missed this great party, and all of us were here, and why weren't you there? And it's like, well, nobody told me about it. So what we wanted to do was make sure that everybody who, whether it's your first time or if you've come 20 times, that everybody knew where to go, this is where the spot's going to be, and it's going to be fun. And if you want to stay out till 2 and you've come by yourself, you're going to make friends immediately. So we've identified kind of 3 different places downtown to host these and feature live musicians. So one night we'll be at the Republic downtown East Village, and we will have Tony Bonenkamp with Piano Palooza will be playing. One night we'll be at Beer Can Alley, and we're going to have party karaoke, so they can experience Court Avenue. I don't know if you've seen them before, live karaoke band, they're really great. And then one night at the Iowa Tap Room, and we're going to have the Nadas. So these are going to go late, but again, local music, fun, kind of fun places. They can see different parts of downtown. Then also, as Vicki said, we're, with these sort of heads in bed, we're trying to get people to stay later, right? This thing wraps up on a Friday morning, but we're saying, well, why don't you just stay till Saturday? Now, I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but we are offering a tour of bridges in Madison County. I think that's something people might not realize that is so close to Des Moines. I think sometimes we take that for granted living here, but it really is a great tour. And with our demographics of folks who typically come to ACCE, we think that will be a great draw. The iCubs are actually in town Friday night. They aren't in town earlier in the week, but we're going to be able to have someone from ACC throw in one of the opening pitches. And so having an ACC night at the Iowa Cubs, and then a bell ringing ceremony at the farmers market the following morning. So we're trying to create that stickiness to keep our colleagues here an extra day if we can. We're using a local company, Volunteer Local. There's a lot of volunteers that are needed, so I think we're still recruiting volunteers, so we'll get that out to you if you and anyone you know can pass that along. We are still recruiting volunteers. It takes a lot of people to make this work. I don't really do social media, but these are the hashtags to use. I'm not sure, these are the pound something, I don't know what a hashtag, anyway. ACC 18 and DSM USA, we've gotten a lot of action on this already. Let's see here. I do want to, I wasn't sure what was going to be in this video here. I guess we're not going to do the video. But a lot of things that we've been doing, and I'll wrap up here quickly. We've been, again, knowing that people don't necessarily see Des Moines as a vacation destination. We've worked extra hard to really sort of generate that interest. So we partnered with, our friends at Catch Des Moines. We had a booth last year where we had a really interactive piece, and we were filming our colleagues all week long in terms of having them ask questions about Des Moines. So we've been dripping that out all year they would ask, like, what's the best craft beer, all these sort of things, and we'll have someone local answer those and then post on social media and tag everybody. So we've been dripping that all year to sort of get a lot of interest. We did a big presentation on stage last year, sang a song, showed a video, and so we've gotten a lot of viral action. So we've been trying to sort of build this sort of crescendo over the last year plus. So we think that's working, but now it's time to execute. I'm very proud of our team, and Meg and Tiffany and Mary in particular have spent a lot of time working on this. I think sometimes we drive ACC crazy because they're not used to having the local community be as engaged as we are, and we're heavily engaged, and pushing them on doing certain things or not doing certain things based on the sort of flavor of the community. And but it's been very, very exciting. But now it's time to execute, right? Now they're coming here. Now we got to make sure that we deliver on what we said we're going to deliver. So it's coming fast, but we're excited. I think that we're set up for it. And so all of you being here is a testament, because the people in this room and all the other members of the downtown chamber have to help with that experience, right? I mean, what are we going to do in terms of if they come into your store, or that if you see them downtown and we can be helpful, and so now that's sort of that sort of final piece in terms of making sure that everywhere they feel where they're walking downtown, they're gonna feel it every place they walk in. So I think that's a good opportunity for me to pass it over to Jennifer. And I will say, the last thing I want to say is we just learned 2 weeks ago that the Downtown Chamber is up for Chamber of the Year in Small Chamber category. Yay! Second year in a row. This is a big deal. It's a ton of work, too. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. How cool would that be if that happens here? So we're keeping our fingers crossed. And then we also found out that the partnership won 2 communications awards, one for our current digital marketing campaign, and then one for our Maximizing Momentum investor campaign last year. So we're excited to get some nice national recognition for the Downtown Chamber and for us as well in front of our colleagues. So with that, handing it over to ACCE colleague and Chamber Pro, Jennifer Chittenden.
Thank you. Thanks, Jay, for the shout out about the Chamber of the Year. We are really excited about that, especially because it's our 10-year anniversary as a Chamber of Commerce. So this is a significant milestone regardless. And the pressure's on. So when you're a Chamber of the Year candidate, you want to make sure your backyard looks pretty good. You've got to prove that you're worthy of that award. So I actually have some tips today about interacting with ACCE visitors. And these tips apply to the whole community, not just downtown. Even though the majority of the time is going to be spent downtown, some of these visitors are going to be staying at and touring and eating and dining in, we have representatives here today from West Des Moines, Urbandale, Windsor Heights, Ankeny. So we want the whole metro to be prepared and to be in a welcoming spirit. After all, when you are hosting a party at your home, do you just show up and open up the doors and people just come in and let things be as they are every day? Some of us, yes. The majority of us are going to spend some time. We're going to go get some fresh cut flowers. We're going to spend some time cleaning. We're going to make sure our windows are streak-free. We might even clean the top of our refrigerator if you're really that type. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get our home prepared for these visitors because they're going to come over and we want them to see the home that we have built the way that we want them to see it. So on your tables, you have a tips sheet interacting with ACCE visitors. If you're following along on the simulcast, this is also located on the Downtown Chamber website, dtchamber.com, and you can access it there. So we're going to talk about before the conference, during the conference, and after the conference, how can you be interacting with these visitors? And because this is also an interactive workshop, if you have suggestions at any time, raise your hand. We would love to hear those and share those with our wider audience that are following online. So before the conference, you want to welcome visitors to your place of business in advance. How can you do that? Social media. They're already on social media, as Jay mentioned. There's a hashtag out there, ACCE18, DSM USA. You can also tag them through ACCE HQ and DSM Partnership. And those are two places where they're going to be as they're exploring and getting ready to come to Des Moines. So let them know that the social club exists and what you have going on that week when they're visiting. Let them know of any conferences that might be happening. Maybe they have an extended stay and they want to grow their education. Also, let them know that you're a chamber member, because a conference with chamber professionals, you are guaranteed these people like to shop and they want to do business with other chamber members. So they're going to be looking for you in advance wherever they go. That's just who we are. They're going to be checking out your membership directory and seeing if where they're going to eat is a chamber member. Make sure your window cling is up in your window. If you don't have a window cling in your window, contact your Chamber of Commerce and make sure you get one. If you have other chamber signage, put that up where they can see. Let them know that you're a proud chamber member. And then also share your chamber. Naturally, with the Downtown Chamber, we encourage our members to put DT Chamber hashtag in that Downtown Chamber. But with your other chambers, they also have hashtags and tagging. Tag them in your post as well, just to let these visitors know that you're a proud chamber member. Be informed and plan ahead. The partnership has a quick fact sheet. We'll also add that to our online portal. Post the event schedule that's in that fact sheet where your staff can see it. Let them also know what's happening, when, and where. And of course, include ACC in your staff meeting conversations leading up to the conference, because it is really important that everybody in the community is aware and that they also are sharing their ideas for how your business can be engaged and involved with these visitors. During the conference, welcome visitors to stop in your store. And an important way to do that is to make sure that from the outside, you can tell what's on the inside. So again, look at your signage, look what's on display. Make sure as they're walking by, there's a point of interest that they want to stop in. They want to at least check out and see what you've got going on. Let them know on your website and your social media how they can find you. And by that, what I mean is driving directions. If they're coming from the suburbs, how do they get to you? Where do they park? Downtown especially, where do they park? Because many of these are renting vehicles. And of course, what are your store hours? When can they access you? As you know from Jay's presentation, they are going to be busy during the conference, but some are coming in early, some are staying late, and some are going to find some free time during the course of the conference. Especially if you're that appealing, they might skip away a breakout session to come visit you. Offer some specials. You should be able to identify, like any conference, they're probably going to be wearing their name tags, so they're pretty easy to spot usually. If they're not wearing a name tag and you think they might be chamberish or you just want to find out, ask them. Ask them why they're in Des Moines. If they say they're here with the ACCE Chamber, I would reward them. Offer them maybe a free appetizer at your point of business. If they're buying something, perhaps you can offer them free shipping or a discount on something. When I was in Nashville last year, I was giving a presentation and I needed some handouts printed, and went into, of course, a chamber member business, had a great conversation about his involvement with the Nashville Chamber, and he gave me 20% off my printing. I can tell you, as an attendee at the conference, I felt pretty special, and yes, I definitely want to go back to Nashville for more than just the food, the booze, and the music. Offer chamber-themed menu or retail items. Be creative about this. And so some ideas, if you're a bar, perhaps you want to have a chamber-themed cocktail. Now I'm going to go really generic because I'm not a funny person, but what about a chamber-tini? So that could be kind of fun. If you're Ray Gun, perhaps you're thinking about a kind of t-shirt that they may want to take back with them about Des Moines. So again, bring this up in your staff meeting. Come up with a few creative items that might make them feel special for being here. Share your stories when you do have them stopping in your place of business. Be wearing chamber apparel, chamber pins, if you've got something with the chamber logo on it. It's great for them to see you and your staff being proud chamber members. But also thank them for stopping in your store and share your own stories. Let them know how your Chamber of Commerce has helped your business and why it's so important that you're a member. And then after the conference, you can still follow up. You can still tag them at those same sites. You can tag DSM USA, but let them know how special it was to have this conference here in Des Moines and that you really want them to come back, because chances are they're coming to Des Moines. If they haven't been here before, they're going to love it. We know that already because we live here, but we want them to come back and with more people, and we want them to look forward to coming back and see it as a destination and a vacation. So any thoughts or questions or ideas to add to that? All right.
So is there a chance for us to purchase a banner and pins? Because we don't have any chamber stuff. That's our fault, not yours. So would we contact you about that so our staff would have some kind of pins? And then if we did, because we do think people would visit the social club just because of past information and reviews, if there's an ability for us to purchase one of the banners to hang on our building, so as they come, they would be welcome, and we can take that offline too if you want.
Sure. So the question Chuck's asking is, can you get pins, apparel, purchased items from your Chamber of Commerce? And I think, Jay, I'm going to bring you into this conversation as well, is a banner for places of businesses are those things that you can purchase. I'll answer from the downtown chamber perspective. What?
That's a softball for you.
Yes, this is an easy one, because actually I just put in an order for downtown chamber pins, so we will make sure our chamber members have pins, and we want the staff to be wearing those. We do have some other items that we can help put into your place of business, so let's connect offline. And for anybody who's interested with their chamber, call their chamber and ask that same question. Is there something that we can put in our business to let our members know that we are a member of your chamber? The answer is going to be yes. It's just going to be different from chamber to chamber. So, Jay, with regards to the large banners that are being downtown, are those something some of the downtown chamber?
So, we can get you connected with Christine from we're doing the downtown banners. But I would even suggest that, I mean, we have like some basic like partnership stickers and stuff like that, but I would think like for the social club and stuff like that, if you just made something, right? It was just like even sort of informal, you know, that might be the easiest way to do it. Just that, you know, even if it's just on a big piece of paper or something, put it out there. And I think, I mean, that's sort of your guys' style too. But I think, I mean, we can probably get you one to order, but they're not cheap. And the ones that we ordered are the ones for the polls. Sure.
At least, Jay, you have some kind, maybe the artwork that can be used? you know, I mean, or a
Yeah.
piece of it. I mean, I'm obviously thinking about our site that's across the street that
Yeah.
I wrote myself a big note, like, we gotta solve that problem. But if we can, I mean, of course, I love the dream big, be different thing, but if there's a way to echo, you know what I mean? Just, you know, not necessarily those signs, but
Right.
to use so I want them to be able to recognize it quickly, so.
So what I'll do is, our communications staff isn't here today, but I'll meet with Christine and Tiffany and say, hey, is there something that we can get out? And actually, we're going to be meeting this afternoon as a team, so we'll put that in the agenda, and then we'll run that through everybody who is here today and send that out to folks and say, here's different things in terms of
Right.
quick banners and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So more information to come about
partnership and ACC themed banners, logos, and artwork and so forth. So
We would love it, you know, even, I love the organic stuff too. I mean,
That to me even sends a really powerful message. I mean, it's sort of, you know, it's like homecoming, right? Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to do the windows and those sort of things. But I think that's really cool. So we're not that concerned, I think, about, you know, often we're really concerned about brand standards and all those sort of things. I think with this one, it's more of, you know, I think the organic side will be really, I'm probably speaking out of turn here, but that's my own opinion. So. But we'll get you some other sort of guidelines and other basic stuff.
So you're encouraging
encouraging people to also be organic as well and be creative. Okay, great point, Chuck. Other contributions, questions, comments? Okay. With that, I think we could probably go ahead and close, unless Jay or Vicki, do you have anything else to bring up?
We're doing that I think is really cool. And you're gonna, is anyone going to the DSM magazine unveiling tonight? So there will be, we've been working closely with Dave Elbert on this for a while, but there is a gentleman who works
at ACCE named Chris Mead, who is sort of our resident historian. He wrote a book about this thick on the history of chambers of commerce in the United States that goes through like the early 1900s, I believe, or maybe World War II is where it stops right now. But this year is the 250th anniversary of the founding of the first Chamber of Commerce in before it was even the United States, right? So there was a chamber that was founded. Does anyone know where it was? Any guesses? Most people say Philadelphia, but it was actually New York. And one of the members was Alexander Hamilton, right? So we've got Hamilton starting this week, so there's some really cool ties. So we're going to be doing something special with that celebration of the 250th anniversary, and Chris and I are scheming. But one of the things that we're doing, you know, I mentioned all this music that we have integrated, but we've also partnered with Iowa Stage, again, resident theater company with the Des Moines Social Club, and then also some other folks, and we are putting together what's called Chamber of Commerce, the musical, which is sort of, the idea kind of came from, if you remember, 6 on 6, the musical, Iowa Caucus, the musical, and a couple other different things. And so basically it's not like a full thing, but there's gonna be like 3 different scenes that are gonna be part of our awards banquet. So our awards banquet in the past sometimes may have been a little dry, but this one is going to have the theme of the greatest show on earth. The greatest showman on earth was the overall theme, and the greatest showman for us is going to be Steve Barry, who many of you know, who has done work with Prairie Meadows and others, and Drake, and hilarious guy. And then, so one of the scenes is going to be a parody of Hamilton. One of them will be a parody of Greatest Showman on Earth, and then another one that's just sort of, you know, Chamber of Commerce making fun of our industry. So it's going to be there will be sort of 3 scenes that will be sort of integrated throughout the program, which again, integrating art and music into this with, you know, the public art as well too. That's something that I think people aren't going to necessarily expect in a city like Des Moines, and the Social Club again is a big part of that as well too. So that's our goal: create all these experiences, things they have never seen before at these sort of events, and make it memorable. So our goal is to make this the biggest and best one ever, because why else would we do it, right? There's no other, if you're going to do it, be the best. That's sort of our philosophy around here too. It's don't go through the motions. So that's our goal, and having you guys be a part of it is very meaningful to us, because again, to be able to showcase what the city's been able to accomplish collectively is really a big deal for all of us, and something we should all be very proud of. So with that, any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much.